the minus, do the minus and the less.
Minus is a PC term.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay. Welcome, everybody. I'm sorry we're starting late. This is Joyce Fletcher. It is Sunday, March 2nd, 2025, and we are going to be talking about keeping a holy Lent because why?
Lent is coming.
Yes, Lent is coming. Wednesday, Ash Wednesday. And so I guess so I'm going to kind of talk a little bit about Lent and so forth, but I thought that maybe we could talk in a group, and I gave you cards in case you want to write down things that you either have done for Lent or you have heard other people have done that you thought was kind of interesting, or something you're thinking about doing, just anything that you can think about when you think about Lent, if you can write down a few notes.
We're supposed to rain.
As many as you think of. It's a small card. There is a backside. When you run out of room, you're done. So Jan and John, what we're doing right now is writing down things that we have thought about doing for Lent, or have done for Lent, or have heard other people have done that we thought was kind of an interesting idea. So anything like that, you have a card and a pen and you can write that down.
Well, you're coming over here. And you got a name tag and everything. Can't think of anything.
Well, doesn't leave it blank.
I can't think of anything.
Surprisingly, this is going to shock you, Diane, but I am not grading this assignment.
Oh, thank heaven.
I'm going to click this and show this again, saying that. I can think of it. Yeah, I know. I don't know what happened here in a while.
You can share this with me.
Okay, does anybody want to share something that you have done, thought about, heard somebody else did?
I'll share one of the most creative things I ever heard. It was from a 7-year-old child, little neighbor boy. One year, he had a favorite children's book author, Bill Peet. Some of you may know Bill Peet, and he loved his Bill Peet books. He had a whole collection, and he gave them up for Lent. So he did not look at it.
Oh, that kind of breaks my heart a little bit.
But the same child, the next year, gave up his pillow for Lent.
Oh, wow.
So I thought, I'm going to try that. I didn't get through.
No.
What way to suffer.
Yeah. I don't know where he was. His parents were not like,
Yeah. Yeah, Jan.
I guess I'm wondering if maybe this year, I can keep on giving up what I thought I'd give up for Lent or change. Every year sort of falls by the wayside.
So you mean kind of stick with it throughout all of Lent? Yeah. I know 40 days doesn't sound like much until you're doing it. Right?
Wait, don't you get Sundays off?
You do get Sundays off, but it's still it's 40 days. It's still 40 days. Oh, that's 40 days on. It's 46 total days with Sundays off. Yeah.
Well, I'm going on, I'm over, well, I'm not over 80, but I'm close to 80, but I was always told that people of a certain age no longer had to practice Lenten discipline, and I can't remember the age. But I'm pretty far past it, I'm pretty sure.
I'm trying to fast from, doom scrolling. So, like, anything that I can think of that really just either wastes time or tends to bring out the worst in me, trying to be intentional about fasting from those with the further intention of, if I can really do it, why not just keep doing it? And this year I'm starting a little bit early because Ramadan actually started yesterday. So, in solidarity with my Muslim friends, I fasted yesterday just for the first day of Ramadan. I'm not gonna try the whole month. But I messed up once, and then I thought, because I just accidentally ate a tortilla because I was cooking them for my kids, and I just ate one. I was like, I'm going to also fast from the guilt and shame and self-reprimanding and just get on with it and finish the day, until sunset.
That might be the hard part.
So, yeah, I mean, I can get caught up in bad mental cycles, so I'm trying to be intentional about trying to stay away from that. But
I want to honor you because I would like to fast from doom scrolling, but I don't believe I am capable of doing that.
I'm not. I messed up there too, but I catch myself and then I say, no, I can do something better. So, yeah.
Anybody else? One of the things that Marcy Troy has told me she has done in the past is she gave away 40 bags of stuff for 40 days of Lent. Like,
Yeah.
decluttering, and I'm like, that is a great thing to do,
I have a cousin. I started baking.
Oh, I do. I 40, I have more than 40.
I started baking papers, so.
I went through 4 closets and I probably gave away 40 bags and the closets still have stuff in them.
Oh, my.
I have a cousin who last year for Lent decided to do a version of that. She mailed things to people she thought she would like the things she was giving away. She sent me an $800 purse that was still in the box. She said, I think you would use it. I passed it along too. I like the idea of giving ourselves to something rather than denying ourselves.
Yeah.
Another friend wrote a letter every day of Lent last year, an appreciative letter to a friend or family member.
That is great. Oh, that's such a good idea. I love that one.
Yeah. So in the corner, you were trying to say something and we interrupted.
Anna.
you.
Oh, no, I was trying to say, I started shredding papers, so I think that because I've been postponing it and I'm like, no, I think it's time now, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
Be meditative.
Shred a day.
shred a day.
Meditative, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good.
And then get my Christmas card.
So I am not an expert on Lent at all because I like Jan, start with good intentions and then they often fall away. And I bought a book and I'm going to actually use this book during Lent. It's called A Different Kind of Fast. But one of the things she talks about is that we kind of treat Lent like a New Year's resolution.
Okay.
And that's not really what it's about. It's really about these 3 things: praying, fasting, and giving, and in some combination or whatever. So I skipped over a slide I meant to show. We kind of talked about this. Technical problem. Well, we'll just skip over my cute slide because I can't seem to, that-
I hate left arrow,
what?
the left arrow.
Well, I would, except that for somehow,
On the
I've
keyboard.
got all sorts of other stuff obscuring that
Oh,
left arrow.
on your keyboard.
Oh, on my
Yeah.
keyboard.
Yeah, just keyboard it. Keyboard back.
No,
No,
all right, sorry.
yeah, I don't know what's happening here. I've got some weird thing up. Oh,
Okay.
here,
Well,
maybe that helps.
oh,
There,
there
that was my cute slide. Give something, how do I decide? Do I give something up? Do I add something positive? You know, some of the things that people think about are things like reading the Bible every day, or giving up something like chocolate, or fish on Friday, or, you know, only fish on Friday, and do you volunteer? Give of your time. Like Lindsay, limit electronic devices and some of the things that we get caught in. Declutter. So those are some of the things that we could do. So we've already talked about this, but Lent is 40 days of fasting, prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. It begins on Ash Wednesday, and it excludes, as May said, Sundays. So it's actually a 46-day period. But Sundays are considered feast days.
Yeah.
So, which doesn't mean that you can't do some, like if you're writing letters to somebody, it doesn't mean you can't write a letter on Sunday, but that's sort of the idea. And the number 40 is significant, as most of you know, because of Noah that we talked about last week. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Moses spent 40 days of fasting on Mount Sinai. The Israelites wandered for 40 years in the desert, and Jesus had 40 days of temptation in the wilderness. So that's where that kind of the tradition came from. So I just wanted to talk about some of the Lenten opportunities at St. Mark's, and I actually put them all on one sheet so that you can know about them, because I think a good Lenten practice is taking advantage of the Lenten opportunities at the church. So who has gone on Shrove Tuesday at St. Mark's?
Oh, yeah.
Gone?
Yeah, who has gone to it? Attended. So what can you what do you remember about it, or what can you tell about coming on Tuesday? The burning of the palms. So we light a fire outside and we burn the palms from last Palm Sunday, and those same ashes are used the following day for Ash Wednesday.
Yeah, it's very exciting when they burn the palms.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's like you need the fire department out there.
Yeah, palms really go up fast. It's like burning a Christmas tree, sort of.
That's what Father said last year.
Yeah.
He said, well, save your tree.
Yeah. So, it's known as Shrove Tuesday, as, Fat Tuesday, as Carnival, as Mardi Gras. And the whole idea of it is, if you're gonna give up things for Lent, one of the traditional things that people gave up for Lent are fatty things. So the reason we have pancakes is it's like using up the fat before Lent starts. So that's kind of the background of it that you probably also. But at St. Mark's, we also have, so the men generally make the pancakes and sausage and bacon, and it's a fun time, and we play Bible bingo, which is fun, and there are prizes for everybody of all ages. So it's worth coming to, and I feel badly because I'm leaving Tuesday morning to go to Florida, so I won't be able to attend this year, so all of you can eat a pancake for me.
Well, you can go to church on Tuesday in Florida.
Well, I could possibly, I don't know what the church in, I will go on Wednesday in Florida, but because I'm flying on Tuesday and trying to get where I'm going, I'm not sure what will be happening there.
Where are you
So,
going?
all over the place, but I'm starting with my sister and brother-in-law in Sun City Center, which is near Tampa.
We'll think of you when we get our March snowstorm.
Okay, thank you. So, on Ash Wednesday, which is this coming Wednesday, St. Mark's does Ashes to Go. So that's really convenient for a lot of people whose lives don't accommodate attending a service, because we do it all day long. So we do it in the library here. I've administered the ashes to people in the past, and it's very moving. It's surprising how many people come. A lot of kids will come after they get out of school. So I think that it's great that we do that. For a while, a few years ago, we were doing ashes at the train station.
Yeah. I think we had more clergy then, maybe.
That could be,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes, Jamie.
A little off topic, but since you're on the 40 days of tribulation and trial, and I thought I might make an observation since my brain clicked over to that. You know what happened 40 years ago, or 40 days ago today?
Mm.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
What do you think?
The inauguration.
Inauguration day was
Oh,
40 days
I
ago
love
today.
Wow.
So we're out of the time of trial. Let's do something.
Oh,
40 years.
No,
Not
no,
40
feels like
days.
40 years.
It's 40 days that feels like 40 years.
Yeah.
Right?
So we had a nice break there.
Oh, my goodness. Huh, that's an interesting observation.
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Really appreciate
Yeah.
it.
So St. Mark's always has a noon Eucharist on the first Wednesday of every month, but this year it's Ash Wednesday, so
I know.
so there will be the noon Eucharist and also imposition of ashes.
And I'm pretty sure the new Eucharist will be in the main church.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm pretty sure too.
But I panicked because I thought, oh my gosh, we didn't assign anybody for the first Sunday, or the first Wednesday noon Eucharist. Then I realized, oh no, don't worry about it.
The first Wednesday noon Eucharist is Ash Wednesday.
Yeah,
right.
I know, I had a
I know,
panic time
it's
this
kind of
morning.
funny that it fell that way this year.
Will we get ashes in church?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
All day.
Yeah.
Even if you can't make the services, all day in here, somebody is distributing ashes.
yeah, but if you go to the noon Eucharist, you'll get ashes there. And then the 7 o'clock service is the bilingual Eucharist that is also imposition of ashes. So that's worth knowing about. And I think most of you have picked up the Take Along Gospel of Luke. Have you? There are some extras over here if anybody wants one. But it's an easy way, like for me traveling, I'm like, that's an easy thing for me to pack and make sure that I have it and I can read it. And at the beginning, George included questions for reflection after each chapter. And there's a suggested reading schedule, so it helps you kind of stick with it and read through the Gospel of Luke. And I really like that we do that. If you looked at the booklet, the Take Along Gospel of Luke, you've probably seen there are some highlighted sections and wondered what those are. And those are sections that actually aren't part of the Sunday readings. And on March 16th, Vicki is going to be focusing on that first highlighted section. I think just the first one, right?
We'll see how we do, but yeah.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
idea.
Yeah, and so that gives you another opportunity to kind of delve into Luke and kind of get into the meat of it. And if that doesn't get you into Luke enough, you can come participate on Saturday, March 8th, where it's the read through the Gospel of Luke, and it's going to be from 1 to 4. It'll start at 1, it'll end when it ends. Right.
Yeah.
George Googled, how long does it take to read the Gospel of Luke aloud? And I think he got like 2 hours and 40 minutes or something like that. But so this is going to be taking place in the sanctuary and on Zoom. We did it during COVID just on Zoom, and I found it really great. I've gotta say, I probably drifted off a little bit a couple times, 'cause
You're gonna be in Florida.
I cannot attend even from Florida for this because I have a friend who's an artist, who lives in New Smyrna Beach, and she's having an art show, and her artist talk is exactly when this is taking place. So I will not be able to participate in this, but I do think it's a really, it's a discipline, really, to sit there and listen to the entire book of Luke being read.
But it will be available afterwards.
Right,
You can
right.
find it on our-
Yeah, and I think several of you have already signed up to do some of the reading, and there may still be a few slots
Yeah, that's
left.
what
If
he said.
there still are a few
You
slots
can
left.
do it too.
I think as of Wednesday, there were 5 slots left,
Uh,
so, yeah.
Hmm.
St. Mark's Stations of the Cross, I don't know if you've had a chance to look at those stations, but they were made, you may know more about the history of Dick Rush. Yeah,
He was actually a world famous artist. He was out of Wheaton College. And he made these Stations of the Cross for St. Mark's, I mean, specifically for our parish.
mhm,
And what else is there to say? They're different. I mean, in that they're very traditional, but you can tell that they're contemporary, of a contemporary mind.
yeah, and if you see the lion that we have, that looks like it's concrete, but it's not, he also did that. And that stylized lion is kind of the model that was used when Beth designed our current logo. This was designed by Beth Treelevin, but it was
good.
really using that, Richard Rush piece.
Yeah, he also painted a lot of walls down in the lower level. The station, weren't the Stations of the Cross painted down there? There were Bible scenes were painted down there, but
Yeah,
over the
It-
years.
it's
that's
been
all they-
painted
that
over,
has to
yeah.
have been-
there
we couldn't
still
hold
is
them.
one.
Yeah.
There's one wall right below, well, kind of right below here, that leads to the choir room, where you can still see
Yeah.
one of his murals. So if you want to see that, you can. But, I love the Stations of the Cross, service. It's, to me, kind of contemplative, and it probably depends on how many people come, but we've kind of moved around the church from station to station. And when you really look at those stations and you see the whole passion of Christ played out through the art on those stations, and it's really meaningful and moving, I think.
Is there a printed version of those stations that people can use if they want to do it by themselves?
I wondered about that too. It
Because
seems
I
like
was
we
raised
have,
Roman Catholic. We did Stations of the Cross by ourselves all the time, but we had it in the prayer book. So.
I think oh, you mean, does the prayer book have like a
Well,
service?
no, because I don't think the prayer book
I think
does.
it does,
Oh,
it
does.
might. But I also think it would be nice if we did that with pictures of actually each of the
Oh,
stations.
yeah.
And then, because the liturgy really follows through what's happening in the picture of the station. So those are 2 Friday nights that's happening during Lent. And you might be able to come to one or both or none of those, but they're worthwhile.
You can find different versions of Stations of the Cross online
Uh-huh.
to follow if you wanted to use something, and it's really, I mean, I think it's really powerful when, different Stations of the Cross connect the Passion with, suffering or injustice that's ongoing now.
Mhm.
So you have to have something like an immigration of Stations of the Cross, related to immigration. And one theologian that I've followed has talked about doing a Station of the Cross in, I think it's in the city of Camden. And they go to basically different places in the city where police brutality has occurred, actually. So, it's, yeah.
Now, that would be pretty powerful, wouldn't it? Yeah, I think we've done the immigration, stations here,
I wrote.
and we've also done, a station from the perspective of Mary. So there are different, yeah, I think, I'm glad you pointed that out, that you can find different liturgies for that. The Wednesday Night Lenten series is this year sponsored by, the Sacred Ground Group, which is a group of people that came together really during COVID, but it's, if you're not familiar with Sacred Ground, it's a program that was started by the Episcopal Church, the National Church, and they developed a 10-week curriculum of videos and readings that really helped us look at issues regarding race and faith. And so after COVID and after we had gone through that curriculum, the group here at St. Mark's wanted to continue meeting. And so they have continued to meet for several years now. And then this past year, put together a series, and you can see the brochure, if you haven't already, you can see the brochure in the narthex of all of the events that are hosted by Sacred Ground. But so Sacred Ground will be hosting the Lenten series. We're going to try to do it here because the youth night typically has Man Hall, and so we are going to see how we can do it. If it gets too crowded, we'll probably watch the movie. We'll eat it here and watch the movie in the sanctuary. So people from Sacred Ground have signed up to bring soup and bread, and I think there will be coffee and water, and if you want something else to drink, bring it. But it's going to, so we're looking at two different documentaries. The first one is Traces of the Trade, and we showed that at St. Mark's a few years ago. Did anybody besides me see it? You saw it?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a documentary made by a woman, I think it's Katrina Brown, who, as she was kind of doing her own genealogy, she's a documentarian, but she found that her Rhode Island family was heavily into the slave trade, and that and that their wealth had really come from basically on the back of slaves. And you know, I think it was shocking to her. I think because probably like most of us, we think, oh, slavery, that was all in the South. You know, it's I think Northerners sometimes feel absolved from, you know, the sin of slavery. And so she actually goes, it's called Traces of the Trade because she actually goes to Africa to where slave boats picked up slaves and brought them here. And it's really fascinating and it's very well done. So we're going to, because documentaries are long, we're going to watch half of it one week and half the next week, and have soup and bread, and also have time for discussion so that we can really talk about how we feel about that. And so that will be done the week of the 12th. It will be done on March 12th and March 19th. And then on March 26th and April 9th, we're skipping a week there because it's the school spring break and not as many people are around. The 13th is a documentary that's made by the same woman who did the movie Origins that some of you saw with our group in the fall. And this is about how the 13th Amendment, which abolishes slavery, actually kind of set up a system for imprisonment of blacks, and the rise of the American prison system really was kind of a result of the 13th Amendment. according to this documentary. So that, I think I've seen both. I think they're both really good and worthwhile. So I hope if you're available, you come to one of those or all of those. And then we get to Holy Week. And sometimes people think Lent, there's Lent and then there's Easter. And to me, Holy Week is so wonderful. And I just think it plays out the whole drama of Christ's life and death and resurrection. And I feel like, in my opinion, if you come only to Palm Sunday and Easter, you've missed a lot of the important stuff of what Easter is all about. So you can see on Palm Sunday here, we have a donkey, we have a procession with our palms, and some we have in the past have the Passion reading on Palm Sunday, and George has felt pretty strongly that, and I think he's right, that Palm Sunday, the Passion didn't happen on Palm Sunday, and it disrupts kind of the joyous feeling of Palm Sunday. So we do Palm Sunday, but in the evening that day, we will be starting to look at the Passion, because the choir will be doing St. Mark Passion by Charles Wood. And I think it will be a beautiful performance. So I would highly recommend coming. There will be, of course, the choir, the organ, and some soloists. And I'm not actually personally familiar with this piece of music, but I'm sure it'll be lovely. So then, the rest of Holy Week, what happens? Did I skip one or
You
not?
did, because the first 3 days of Holy Week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, is a new Eucharist.
Right. And I
don't know if you missed it or if it just didn't get on the,
Yeah, it's probably on the calendar, but I think I didn't notice that. I knew there was one on Wednesday. I didn't know Monday and Tuesday.
Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Okay, yeah, because so yeah, Wednesday there is a noon Eucharist, but that's good to know that Monday and Tuesday there is as well. I didn't realize that. Thank you, May. So Monday, Thursday happens on Thursday, and so on that Thursday, if we look at the Passion of Christ, on that Thursday, that's when there was the disciples in the upper room for the Last Supper. Jesus washed their feet. Jesus retreated to the Garden of Gethsemane. And we really kind of act that all out at St. Mark's. We have an agape meal, which is not a replication of the Last Supper. It's not a Passover meal either, but it's kind of a Middle Eastern kind of meal. And so we have that in Man Hall, and that, so this all starts at 6, and it's really all part of the service, because this is all part of reenacting what Christ went through. So after we eat at the agape meal, we then have foot washing. And if some people don't like having their feet washed, you can have your hands washed. You cannot participate. And then we go into the church and have a Eucharist service. And then there's the stripping of the table. And what that is really, to me, it shows that, like, almost leaving, the disciples leaving Jesus, you know, that so the linens are taken off, the candlesticks are removed. It's done very ceremoniously. And I've missed that for a number of years because I'm usually cleaning up after the agape feast. And then the sacrament is taken to ombre in the chapel. So that on Good Friday, the elements at the Eucharist are all from the reserve that has been, put away. Is there something I should be saying
No,
that I
I'm
didn't
just
say?
starting to cry because it's a very emotional time. Those of us who strip the altar.
Yeah,
It's very emotional.
yeah, it's very moving.
And then Good Friday, we end up with no sacrament for 24 hours.
Right, but if we go back to Maundy, Thursday, then the Jesus Retreat to the Garden, the chapel is just beautiful, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is. And Jan, thanks.
Yeah, Jan Langford usually does that, and you can sign up for a spot to come in, and so that we have prayer from the end of the Maundy, Thursday service until Good Friday morning. And that's really, a reminder of Jesus going into the garden and praying. And the disciples, fell asleep, and I'm one of those who will probably be asleep while. And so then on Good Friday, we have a number of things that happen. There's a children's service where I have not been to, so I probably shouldn't speak to. Have you been to it?
Yeah, I've taken my kids in the past.
Uh-huh.
Robin, does she return for it?
She's not gonna be here
Not
this
this
year, so
year.
I'm not sure how it's gonna be
Okay.
done.
She has done an amazing job in the past, I'm sure, whoever does it this year, and it's been a few years, so it's probably been someone else more recently, but, I'm sure they've all done a wonderful job of, leading the children through different parts of the church and telling a different part of the story in each room, and it does get, it's somber and solemn, and, I've had trouble keeping at least one of my children in that somber, solemn mood, but of course,
Yeah.
this is a wonderful place, nobody judges or anything,
Yeah.
it's been a very nice experience.
Yeah. And then there's music and meditation from 1 to 2:15, and then on Good Friday is when we do the Passion reading, and there's veneration of the cross, and what else happens like this? Eucharist from the reserved sacrament. And then we have the Easter Vigil. So the Easter Vigil starts in darkness and a fire is lit. There are several readings that start with God creating the world and going through a lot of the Old Testament readings to bring us up to the birth of Christ. When the proclamation of Easter is made, we ring bells. There are lots of alleluias. I didn't mention this before, but we should, I haven't looked at the bulletin today, but I would expect that there would be many songs with alleluias today, because
Yeah,
we
you
bury-
said something about the choir trying to find, I don't know,
Yeah.
14 hallelujahs or
Yeah.
something, I don't know.
because this is when for Lent, we bury the alleluia. So we don't say alleluia during Lent. And so all of a sudden at the Easter Vigil, we proclaim Christ has risen with the alleluias, ringing of bells. So if you have bells, bring them. The Lanzillo family always brings the big cowbell thing. And then
No pressure.
And then we have a baptism. If there is a baptism, we like having a baptism on the Easter Vigil. I don't know if there is one this year, but
I don't know.
whether or not there's a baptism, we repeat our baptismal vows. That's an important part of that service. And usually get, what's it called, the aspersion? Yeah, where we get wet.
Yeah.
If you haven't showered, you're all, yeah.
Sunday before Easter, I guess, is a traditional baptism day.
Right, that's what I was saying, the Easter Vigil, it is traditional to baptize that day, but that doesn't mean there's always somebody available. And then Easter Sunday, notice that there's a time change in the services, 9 and 11:15, and then the 1 o'clock Spanish service. So,
Egg hunt on the lawn.
I'm sorry, what?
Is there an egg hunt on the lawn or something?
oh yeah, and there's an egg hunt on the lawn for the kids
On Easter.
on
Yeah.
Easter, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
there's more than one.
Yeah, I think they're for after every service.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just-
So yeah, so that's a lot that's going on at St. Mark's, and I think Laura's gotta go, right?
I do. I'm so sorry. This has been great, though. Thank you so much.
No problem, bye.